Hey, good evening. It's Mayor's Update right at 6:30 on Tuesday, and it's Joe flying solo tonight. Grayden's not here to make you all entertained and to help me with all your questions. So I want to see how I can do it all by myself. I'm still up at the cottage with Stephanie as part of her recovery, and will be most of this week. But we knew we could do this part from here, and so some 250 to 300 shows later, this is the first one I've ever done without Grayden. As you know, I think there's been a couple times where Grayden's done the show by himself or with guests. But here we go. We're going to try and do the whole thing. What happened this week? If you weren't downtown on Friday night for Pumpkin Prowl, then you missed one of the biggest events downtown this year. It truly was. We were trying to just chat off air before I came on about how many people. I'm saying between 2,500 and 5,000 people were downtown on Friday night. Beautiful night for it. Lots of great costumes, lots of great conversation, and as you can see, we're playing some of the pictures of downtown. As we move along, had a lot of fun out front of City Hall. Again, went with full intention that I'd get to walk around and see some of the other stores and some of the other business owners. But no, it was that busy. So hi, Sharon. I see Sharon Montgomery Anderson has joined us tonight too. So great. I want to start off by saying if you're on watching and as you come on, by all means, it's a great night to get some of your questions answered because there's not a whole lot of banter between Grayden and I talking about other things. But I sure wanted to share how great Pumpkin Prowl was downtown and thank all the downtown merchants for their support and how well that went. Also going on that same night was the Spirit Awards in St. Thomas. So congratulations to all of you that were nominated, all the businesses and individual people who were nominated, and congratulations to those that prevailed, that did win. So the Spirit Awards are a neat, hands-on community voting way of recognizing some of the people and industries in town. And I know that our own Grayden Laing did win a Spirit Award, and he's not here to blush when I said that, so that's okay. Lots of great other businesses in our community recognized at the Spirit Awards also. So again, if you're joining us tonight, please tell all your friends that Mayor's Update is on so that we can actually share it live. But as you know, it repeats itself often on established media and on Rogers. And so we'll be able to replay the show too. So still looking for lots of questions from the viewers tonight on anything happening in St. Thomas. So we'll talk also about some of the things that are happening. We the extension of Highbury across to Centennial reopened again, I think last Saturday or Sunday. And so now we're really starting to see some of the completion of some of the construction work up around Yarmouth Yards. And so we have now completed the roundabout at Centennial and Highbury, which you said, what? Centennial doesn't meet Highbury? Yeah, it does now. So if you go straight down Highbury, you'll get to the roundabout that will also be the entrance and exit onto the Highway 3 too. There will be a roundabout there that does that also. Lots of work along Highbury still as we rebuild Highbury to be able to handle the traffic to go with the new industrial park. And the construction at the corner of Highbury and Ron McNeil will start this week. First of next week, I think, we'll start seeing some closures at that intersection. So any questions about anything else, let me know. We know that the Kane Street, the second phase of the Kane Street construction is still ongoing between Elma and Station Street. And if we mention that area, we should say that Monday there was a great display of the first of the bungalows at Tiny Hope. So we thank Doug Terry and the YWCA and Sanctuary Homes for their work on the Tiny Hope project. But the first of the bungalows was open so people could see it. It's really quite a unique housing situation happening there. So thank you to to those three groups plus the city to help get that done, and can't wait till we're starting to put new people into that housing also as we work towards Built for Zero on our housing and homelessness. And the YWCA is taking the lead on the housing in that place. Again, any questions that have to do with the city, please let us know. I'm just going to go into, and please also, if you want to enter into the chat, any events that you have coming up so that we can help share them to other people on Mayor's Update. I've got coming up this week, I think the Remembrance Day is really on its way. We did the Pin the Poppy on the mayor last week. That's something the Legion does to launch the poppy sales program. And so that's going on. If you see somebody and you see a poppy box, please put a couple shekels in there to make people know that you care, and we can help the Legion do what it does to support veterans. I've got a remembrance ceremony happening at Valley View coming up this next week, the following week, and many of those Remembrance Day ceremonies. I know I'll be out to Southwold. I know Grayden will be out there also. Southwold on November the 10th. Incredibly good indoor, outdoor Remembrance Day ceremony in Southwold. If you haven't been to Southwold Remembers, best around. Please do it. And then, of course, in our own Memorial Square on November 11th, we'll have our own wreath laying and march past and the type of stuff that we do on Remembrance Day here in St. Thomas. Yeah, thanks, Adam. It does look like Grayden left me hanging. No, we know how busy he's gotten, and I was going to be away up north today anyway, so we talked about, can we do the show separately? You're right. It's not near as much fun without the fun we have with each other too. But it's teaching me something, as I started off tonight saying this is like well over 250 shows that he and I have done together on Mayor's Update. And I know we shared a week ago or so of a transparency award we were given from a local politics point of view. The fact that we're on every week answering questions almost without fail. I know there's some days, sometimes we're not, but we're still working on doing it. But the transparency in our community is you get to come on and ask whatever questions you want. And I get to do whatever I want this week, whether Grayden's here or not, and we'll see how that goes, right? So, well, so I'll keep sharing with you. And if you've got any events, let me know. I'll keep telling you of other things that are happening. Of course, as we start getting into the 1st of November, I shared all some of the Remembrance Day pieces we have going on. And immediately kind of after Remembrance, we start to get into most of the bazaars, Christmas markets, that type of thing. We know we have the Horton Street Christmas market coming up in that weekend past Remembrance Day here in St. Thomas, but many other places also doing it. If you've got Christmas bazaars, church bazaars, Christmas sales, market sales, anything going on, please share with us so that we can let people know what's going on. I've already been approached by a couple of other people who have food drives and other things going on. There's what I heard about today for December 1st at St. Anne's, which is a great time to do it, right? Sharon's asked me, does the no parking on the street still run from November 15th to March 15th, or was it changed? This year going forward, I believe it doesn't start till December 1st this year. I know I said last week that was the truth, and I forgot to check whether I misspoke or not, but I think we're now open, no overnight parking on the streets without an overnight parking permit from the December 1st to March 15th. We've kept March 15th the same. So, and if I'm incorrect there, before we get to November 15th, I'll make sure I share with you. We We do that, of course, so that it's easier to clear the streets. And we also have started some conversation about boulevard parking in some of our subdivisions. Um, and that is where you could park across the end of your driveway on the boulevard, what would be the city property. Because we know that as we're starting to get some homes with more than one car or two cars, depending on about accessory units that we've put into some homes. So we're looking at that, but there's some real restrictions on that. So please don't start doing that until you've verified with your neighbors and the city that you're one of the streets that is picked, because we're going to have the streets decide, the neighbors on the streets decide. If it's over 50% would like it, then it would happen. And we're going to do a minimum of 10 streets over the next little while that had the ability for boulevard parking. Now, most of the old areas of town, there isn't the space on the boulevard, but in many of our newer subdivisions and subdivision streets, there's room to do both of those. So prepare. As good as the weather has been, it's tough to prepare for winter yet, but know it's coming, and we can make it work. Let's see here. I wanted to make an announcement about the third annual. This is a food drive by people, and I'm sorry if I'm normally getting to do this while Grayden's looking things up, but I can do it tonight. We have Mary Ellen Allen wrote me and said the third annual holiday food drive, December 1st it is. It's at St. Anne's, and it's 1 to 5. And it's in honor of her mother, their mother. And she was a caring person who wanted to help take care of St. Thomas. So I promised her that it's happening on December 1st, that we would, on every mayor's update leading up to that, they raise a pile of funds to help our food bank, but also collect a lot of food for our food banks. So remember that at St. Anne's on December 1st, and please come and help. Is there any updates on the new animal shelter? Yes, I was at the puppy walk 2 weekends ago, and we certainly have, I believe we've now certified the builders that can bid on the project. And so the RFP is out to come back to us. I will certainly build it during 2025. So the updates are it's moving forward. That's the best I can share with you till we actually pick a bid for it. But that's where we're at. Why are accommodations being made for increased parking amidst rapid sprawl instead of increasing walkability throughout the city? Both are happening, Brett. We, of course, continue to have trails and build more trails and continue to work on how to make our city even more walkable and including density and buildings in our downtown core. But that doesn't stop us from doing both things, and that's having accommodation for parking so that some of the larger homes in our community can actually be made into 1, 2, or 3 different accommodations, apartments. So both are happening. What's this? Also, question is, what's the status of the secondary plan required for the rail lands? I think there is between the landowners now, Doug Terry and the Railway Museum and some of the other landowners. It's the choosing of a consultant to do so. And I'm sorry, but I've been off that topic for a couple of weeks, so I can't quite tell you any more than we know that's the intent. We have to do a secondary plan review before such time as we can look at whatever anybody's proposal might be for the lands on the railway lands as part of that whole block of Ross Street, Talbot, First Ave, and Wellington. So lots of news to come, but nothing today. Great for the questions. Thank you very, very, very much. What else is happening? Anybody else have any other events that they know are happening this weekend? I have, I think, this weekend also seniors have talent, or seniors got talent at the senior center. I really think St. Thomas needs this is from April. I really think St. Thomas needs a spay and neuter clinic. Could St. Thomas make this happen to lower animal populations in our city? Lower income could really use this. Well, if you can't afford to have a pet, why are you having one? Would be one thing to say. And our shelter does advise on things like spay and neuter, but that's mostly a animal owner, a dog or cat's owner's job. We continue to work on things like making sure that when somebody buys an animal from our shelter or adopts an animal from our shelter, that they are chipped and are have all their shots and the type. So, hey, want to put together a group that wants to do spay and neuter clinics. I'm happy to see somebody else happening it. Is it really an expense the city should be doing? We'll certainly help with it and advise on it. Sign up for Christmas Care. Well, Christmas Care will be starting within the next week or two. So yes, so sign up for Christmas Care will be coming up soon. So if you're someone who wants to help and volunteer, get ready, come and help. If you're somebody who wants to donate, I know that Christmas Care puts a lot of things back into our community, including toys and food. So please, if you're a donator, please do so. But if you're also someone in need, when you see the call to come sign up, please do so. It would be a way of helping others give back, and a way of, and even if you're maybe on the list where you need the help of Christmas Care, they need you too from a volunteer point of view if you want to help and do that too. Question came in from Dale Cumming. Who owns the fenced off land at the corner of Ross and Talbot? It has sat vacant for years, and yes, it has. I have had the owner in my office a couple of times to suggest we need to move forward on that land, but they own a couple of prime pieces of property in St. Thomas, and we continue to work on. It's not city owned, and so there's not much we can do on it. So we'll work on continuing to put pressure on something happening. November 5th is starting at the Elgin Center Christmas Care. Yes. Will firms with involvement with the city's industrial expansion have more favorable consideration for design build of the new water recovery facility? Well, thanks, Brett. I don't know what you mean by that. The water recovery facility is a city-owned facility, and we'll be building it large enough to be able to handle the wastewater from any of the new industrial park also. Certainly as they've located in town, whether it's PowerCo or anybody else working in Yarmouth Yards, we get from them immediately before what their wastewater capacity needs are, and we make sure that our plants can deal with it. And that's truly what we're doing, right? So we continue to work together with new industries in our community to make sure, and across our community with even housing developments, what the capacity of our needs are from whether it's wastewater, water, electricity, roads, sidewalks, and we continue to work together on that, what we call smart growth, the growth of our community, whether it's density in the core, so we continue to use up land in the downtown or near the downtown, and or in the new industrial park. Looking for more questions. Anybody got any? Anybody have any more events? Right. More favorable consideration for bids on helping complete. We have a consultant on this is complete the water recovery facility. We have a complete consultant and on the needs, size, modern ability of the wastewater facility, and we'll continue to use them to help us design it and build it. I think as we grow, we're trying to look many years out on wastewater. The wastewater plant on Sunset at Bushline was built many, many years ago. It's now not at capacity, but it's nearing it. So the need for a new one in the north to be able to handle the new industrial park, plus the growth in St. Thomas, will be designed to be scalable. So what we build first could also be made larger as the city continues to grow. Happy to have any more questions about that one too. You know what I just noticed? When Grayden's not here, I don't get a break. I'm talking a lot. I had to grab a quick drink there. So thank you. And I'll remind Grayden that next week he does the whole show by himself without me saying anything. Who has any other questions about growth in St. Thomas? What's happening in St. Thomas? Your thoughts and desires? I know that there was an open public meeting this last week about Fairview Avenue. Certainly, Fairview from Talbot to Elm Street, and there's a couple of ideas out there on as we remove the old railway overpasses on that street and on Talbot to make it a flatter street and. So we've got a lot of public input. We did not happen to. Politicians don't generally attend the public input meetings. That's for the department who's having the public meeting to gather input. Then it's reported back to council. Council's already spoken on this one a couple of times already too. So. Okay, so Brett's asked another follow-up question, but I'll answer April's first. The road construction on Elysian and St. George has made the area look much better. Boy, there's some great construction that's gone on lately in our community, whether it's that one, certainly, the Kane Street piece with the new roundabout. Well, you even look back just a year ago to Talbot Street. We were just talking about how we did pumpkin prowl on Talbot Street last year with only one set of the street lights on because we're just finishing the construction problem too. So Brett's asked, will firms involved in the new industrial project have greater consideration for bids on the new wastewater facility? I don't know what you mean. I mean, most of the people entering into contracts in the industrial park don't make wastewater facilities. We have been using a couple of companies to do a lot of the land management there, whether it's the area prep or installing water lines. And of course, they'd be allowed to bid on anything they're qualified to be able to bid. But a wastewater facility is a pretty specialized piece of work. And so happy to have any. So, well, Brett, you're asking again, is greater consideration from council? Council's not allowed to make consideration as to what companies get what projects. That is done by a request for proposal, and we're forced by the Municipal Act to take the best price that somebody gives us. So we put good specifications in as to what the plant will be, and as you would want us to do, not picking people we know or anything like that. We simply take the best report that comes in. And Janet, thank you. I am doing a lot of talking tonight. As I said, this is a bit of fun, but I do this professionally. But this is still a fair bit of talking tonight, considering I'm sitting up at the cottage in my camo sweatshirt and trying to reach all the people back home. So, anybody have any further questions or comments or something bad you want to say about Grayden? Tonight's your night, or any public events that are coming up. Okay, that was quiet enough. Nobody's got anything else to say. We can look forward to a couple of other things happening in mid-November. We've got the tree lighting. I believe it's the 17th, and we've got the tree lighting. And the night of the tree lighting, we're also doing Light Up Talbot. There'll be 4 or 5 stations along Talbot Street, horse rides on Talbot Street after the tree lighting, and we can do that. We can certainly do that. Because of different sponsors and different groups. There'll be one of the warming stations out front of City Hall, and I'll be there having some fun after the tree lighting. So, no, sorry, Dale, I don't remember promising you I'd take you to the cottage. Any news about the pool at the hospital? As I explained last week, I spoke to the president of the hospital. She's speaking to people who were using the pool, but it's first of all, there's an exceptional cost that it would take to repair the pool, if indeed it can be repaired in the spot that it is in the hospital. So we continue to share that we've got a pretty good deal for people at the YMCA on use of their facilities for aquafit, family swim, and swimming lessons. For folks in St. Thomas, a good reduced rate for you to be able to do that. So let's see how we're doing there. Any chance of Talbot being shut down for the pumpkin prowl next year? We want people to be able to get downtown and see the stores. Pumpkin prowl takes place only on the sidewalks. We had a number of students as volunteers this year acting as crossing guards where there are crosswalks. But I think if most people start in one spot, go down one side of Talbot and cross over safely and go up the other side on the sidewalk, I'm not sure why we want to exclude people who are trying to get downtown or get home from downtown from driving on Talbot. But we'll certainly, in our recap, I'll have that discussion with Grayden as the president of the Downtown Development Board as to whether that's a thought. But I think these events that the Downtown Development Board puts on, this isn't a city event, it's a downtown business event. It's to drive people downtown. So we'll do our best. Adam says, the YMCA has one pool with limited times. Town is growing. We sure could use another one. We are looking at it. There's a committee of council still looking at what the design would be of a new recreation center, what it would include a pool or not. And if so, then how much? Because the cost of building any new recreation facility will be a large thing, and we'll need to get at least 75% of it from other levels of government. So we have to have a plan ready to go when the government says, hey, we've got some money. There's currently a small grant process out there from the province of about 200 million. We think that that's going to be spread over in very small amounts across the province. So we're waiting for also to have the proposal ready for our rec center so that when a larger grant from the federal government or provincial government comes forward, we can move forward. But we have a committee already working on looking at sites and what needs to be in our recreational center. But a thank you to the YMCA for their offer of letting us help people be members of the Y for swimming purposes only and let the city do it. We've asked, we know that people from other municipalities around us are asking, can they get the same deal? And we said, sure, if their communities approach the Y with funding, they'd be happy to do it too. Dale said, Sharon, I agree with Sharon, cars were still flying down the street in the West End. All you need is one kid. No, I get that, but that the same thing. As I said, we'll look at it as part of the review of pumpkin prowl. But I think 5,000 or so people in our downtown was a positive thing, and so I think we'll look at how can we help the businesses downtown as much as we possibly can, and create crowds in our downtown. So we know that there's certain times when, like we did with Oktoberfest, we closed a very small portion of the downtown, but in order to close it for pumpkin prowl, it'd be the whole street, and you know how hard it is to get across at certain intersections. So we'll see what we're doing. What is council doing to prepare for the effects from economic deflation? I don't see any of that happening in St. Thomas. We've got exceptional growth going on, and we'll continue to plan for exceptional growth going on in St. Thomas. I didn't know the Y was offering a discount prior. Well, we'll make sure we'll get that news out there. Obviously, here on Mayor's Update, we've talked about it a lot, but we'll put it on the city website again, and we'll get it out there to more people. If we can help families use the Y more, instead of building a very expensive pool, or in addition to building a very expensive pool, then both things would really help a lot. Thanks. You guys are asking a lot of questions tonight. Right? Will council consider a new crosswalk design dedicated to veterans? I saw the picture of that. I'm not in town right now, but I saw the picture of that. We'd love to have the Legion come approach us and say that they'd like to help with that. We'll probably have to do some fundraising and pick a spot to do it. And we have two other dedicated crosswalks, one to Indigenous and one to Gay Pride. So, yeah. All right. So, Hey, we've got to run at 7 o'clock. We've got to make sure that we end on time tonight. Dale, thank you for coming and joining us tonight, and all the rest of you. What a great week it was. Tell Grayden how great a job I did next week in your comments, and we'll see you all next Tuesday night. Thanks.